Quit playing victim. You think you're the only one that's got a bad fucking life? When I was down, depressed, broken, who the fuck picked me up? I fucking did! Me! And I led the fucking way! Quit playing victim! You
Around money. Money doesn't impress me. I've been in the streets. Streets don't impress me. I've went to thousands of parties. It gets old. The only thing that impresses me now is loyalty, honesty, and morals. That shit never gets old.
A real warrior, if he worries about making it home, he's not worth a shit as a warrior. You might as well just stay home. And if you're going to go up and do warrior type things, you have to accept the realization that you're probably not going to make it. And once you do that, then you can become an effective warrior.
A weak man will be abused. A nice man will be used. A ruthless man will be feared. A true man will be respected.
With the right woman, there's no stopping me. I could go right to the top. What I gotta tell you is this. I like it.
Fuck them. Fuck them rumors. Fuck what they heard. Wake that fucking monster up. And when you do, don't let that motherfucker go back to sleep. Go after what you want. Fuck them.
If you're a fucking savage and you get out there and you grind hard and you want it bad enough, you can run all these guys over, man. This next generation is just such a fucking group of pussies, man. For the small group of savages out there, run these fucking kids right over, man. Run them all over. There's never been more opportunity than there is today.
Yo, 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 welcome back. Yeah, it's been a couple days. You know, had some stuff kind of go on. But I want to start off that video with something a little more like inspirational, because a lot of my Instagram is mostly that, honestly. Like, I have my personal Instagram account, and then I have like the one where I have my garden adventure stuff, basically. This one though that I'm on is kind of shadow banned, to be honest, but it is what it is. But a lot of it is just mostly motivational stuff, things that I post, clips from this. You know, if you guys aren't familiar with it, go ahead and check it out. You know, follow your boy. Like I said, it's shadow banned, so not a lot of people get to see that channel. It kind of sucks, but as you saw basically there, I wanted to kind of, I don't even know how to start this, but because this is a little, in my opinion, I think this is a little more raw. But I wanted to start this a little different because, again, you know, we talk about creating substance and everything, and you know, if you want to tune out, that's fine. This is gonna get a little more serious, in my opinion. If that's something that you enjoy, then by all means, you know, like, comment, subscribe, and then we all. But regardless of that, there's a couple of things that I wanted to mention. For whatever reason today, when I woke up, I usually try to stay away from social media for like the first couple hours of waking up, other than, you know, going on my phone, checking my time and stuff. I usually try not to be on my phone that much. And when I logged in, I was driving, and when I looked at my phone real briefly, and I was listening to a song, and the song that hit me kind of deep. It always does. But then I went on social media after the fact, and I saw a lot of the same thing. Like it was like a lot of people had like the Monday blues. A lot of the guys that I follow, a lot of the guys, you know, that I know personally for the most part, you know, had like these like Monday blues, and just people in general too. And so that's kind of the reason why I started the video with, you know, those reels on my Instagram, because sometimes they help me, you know. And I'm sure, you know, they could potentially help others. So I figured, you know, let's start off on a positive note and as such. And my message to you guys is basically, don't stop. You know, shout out to Lex Friedman. I'm gonna see if I can pull up something that he actually posted, which, you know, was kind of, I guess, like a little bit, I wouldn't call it depressing, right? But it was something that I kind of, again, I woke up this morning and I was like, damn, I feel this like 100%, right? And I do want to share that with you guys. Um, let's see here. But basically, this was it, right? Um, you know, as you can, if you guys can read it, it says, "Some days I feel like a failure, and I don't know what I'm doing. Today is one such day. Maybe everyone feels that way sometimes. I just want to say that I'm with you." And I read that and I was like, damn, like, obviously he's someone, that I will openly say I respect and I look up to. He's a really good dude, very obviously smart. Has accomplished a lot with his YouTube channel as well, and the interviews he does is amazing. But even it brought me like that realization that even some of the people that you potentially look up to go through their own stuff, right? And one thing that I often criticize sometimes is, and people say people need to speak out or whatever, talk about their feelings, right? But sometimes you do, and it just goes unheard because it doesn't provide like material basically for someone to go about having a better day, right? You see something said, you're like, oh, I don't want that negativity in my life. But what you end up doing is kind of pushing people away that maybe you shouldn't, and maybe who may potentially need a lift me up, right? A kind word from you. So, if you guys didn't catch it earlier in that post, right? I put, if you guys can see my comment here, and this username here is actually from, like I said, the other page that I have. Um, but basically, what I wrote was, go ahead, feel it, let it run its course all around your body, then defeat it, show it why you're still standing, right? And I I stand by that like 100%. Sometimes I know people often criticize, when you say, oh, being emotionally intelligent and what that actually means. Not knowing that emotional intelligence is, I've actually read that in, right, psychology books, especially the one called Dark Psychology. It was like a 6-in-1. And one thing that I got from it, and something that I've realized, kind of going through life and my own daily, we'll call them challenges and obstacles and stuff, and just the problems and obstacles that life throws at you, is we need to, and for anybody who's listening or willing to listen, we need to stop being scared of negative emotions. We need to stop with the idea that for whatever reason people have now, where you need a safe space all the time. And let me just say you don't. Because what happens is if you're consistently in your safe spaces, right? When you go through something, you're not going to know how to deal with it because you don't know what those emotions are necessarily, or sorry, what those emotions necessarily are, right? So it's good to be able to like experience something like that and go through that pain, go through those negative emotions, whether it's anger, whether it's sadness, whether it's anxiety. You have to be able to acknowledge that emotion so that next time when you feel something similar, you know how to navigate through it and it doesn't destroy you, right? And stop negating yourself that, because we fail to recognize that there's still emotions and what makes us real and human, right? What gives your life and the life of many meaning for a lot of times. Um, so that's why you see so many times men and women, especially men, we know the statistics for men that actually self-delete at a much higher rate. Because although I understand the notion of, you know, you have to having to be stoic and emotionally intelligent as you're growing up. You have to feel it, right? So when they say be stoic, it doesn't mean necessarily that you have to ignore those negative emotions, right, and just kind of glance over them. It means feel them, go through them, but conquer them. You don't want to stay there. Um, and one thing I do want to say is also those negative emotions, like and positive for that matter, they don't make you you. So if in a moment you're feeling happy, you're joyful, that's great, but it's not you. The same way being depressed and having anxiety isn't you, right? So you have to stop letting these things kind of define who you are, right? So that to me is what emotional intelligence is knowing what you're feeling when you're feeling it and being able to navigate through them. That's why I left that comment right on his post. Um, here, bring it up again. You know, let it run its course all around your body, then defeat it. Show it why you're still standing. Um, and I 100% like will believe in that because again, reiterating. I don't want to repeat myself too much, but reiterating the fact that if you don't brace yourself for impact, you know, you're going to be in a world of hurt, right? I don't know if you guys have ever heard the saying that goes, "A knight in shining armor is only a knight who's never had his armor truly tested," right? And I've kind of always, for the most part, I'll say this, like I've held that belief within me is I don't want to arrive to my forever, we'll call it my forever bed, right, in the ground, and people are mourning me. I don't want to arrive to that point and people say, "Oh wow, like look, he looks so good. Like there was, you know, he was young or this and that." No, like I want to get to that point where people are gonna see me in that or potentially see me in that situation and who are gonna say, "Oh wow, like look, this dude, you know, there's scars there. There's this, there's that. He went through this. Look at like the way this is like." I want people to see me and say this is a person who genuinely lived, right? And who went through the hard times and was able, you know, and experienced pain, but at the same time experienced love and all that stuff. And this video is mostly that. I want to express that love and gratitude to everybody, um, you know, who may be watching this or who may be going through something. Because oftentimes, maybe you don't want to, you're going through something, but you don't want to talk to your family. Maybe you don't want to talk to a sibling, your mom, dad, or a relative, right? You don't want to talk to a friend. A lot of times, and I can speak on this for me personally, is sometimes I want to talk to a complete stranger. This is why, for me, like I sometimes enjoy some of these videos, right? And making them because I like sharing that with other people. Like I said, today I woke up, you know, a bit of a gloom like here. You know, I'm located in SoCal and we've been getting a lot of rain and I enjoy the rain. I enjoy cold weather, all that stuff. I don't think necessarily that kind of attributes to it. But sometimes, like Lex, you can't help but feel a certain type of way. And mind you, he's very accomplished, right? Um, like not long ago, and I'll see if I can maybe look this up. But I was unaware. Um, but I seen a let's see if we can see it here. I seen a reel with Chester Bennington, who was very obviously one of the biggest artists of my generation, right? Um, and I guess he did an interview. I can't seem to pull it up, but you know where he talks about his mental health, basically. Um, you know, and he speaks on it, and he basically what he says there is in the interview was, this basically is this place in here between his ears isn't always a fun place to be at. And the guys who were interviewing kind of like laughing it off, like, oh, yeah, I kind of understand what you're going through. But they're not necessarily really listening to him. And again, I'm watching this, and to me, anyways, it struck a chord because, again, we talk about people need to speak up, men need to speak up, talk about your emotions and stuff, and they do. I see it all over. Like social media, guys consistently just trying to reach out. And it's always the same thing. It's always just, it's ignored until it's too late. And so with this video, I kind of want to be the ones to say, hey, like, one, you're not alone. There's nothing wrong with what you're feeling. Um, I don't want to sound too cliche and say, if you need someone to talk to, but in all sincerity, like, if you do need someone to talk to, you guys need a pen pal. You guys can reach out through here, through, my link tree, is down below, through my Instagram, whatever the case is. I enjoy speaking to people. I enjoy giving my 2 cents to someone who may potentially need it, because sometimes, I've been in that situation where I've wanted somebody to listen to me, and usually you want a stranger because maybe you're not going to see them ever again, and you're not necessarily scared of them judging you, perhaps, because they don't really know you. And again, whatever is going to help you be here tomorrow, I'm all for it. If it means I gotta take out a couple minutes of my day to do it, by all means. Like, it's well worth it. You're well worth it, right? Um, yeah, no, I feel like I'm rambling, but it was, like I said, it was something that I really wanted to kind of put out there. This is kind of why that I decided to even make this video, and I know it's not something common, but again, it felt more real than like just reacting to something, because in all honesty, it's not that. There's so much that I'd like to speak on and speak to, you know. I remember watching, if you guys have ever seen the interview between John Bernthal, who I adore as a Punisher and as an actor, and Shia LaBeouf, when he interviewed him. And Shia LaBeouf tells his story about when he was going through, all his troubles and stuff, and he talks about how he had a guy who he mentioned to, I don't plan on, basically what he said is, I don't plan on being here tomorrow. I may not wake up tomorrow, is basically what Shai said to this gentleman. And the gentleman told him, oh, really? Well, why don't you sleep on it and let me know tomorrow what happened. And it was, I remember that when I listened to it, it was kind of like, it hit me pretty hard, because in a good way, because basically what he was telling him was, he gave him power back over his own life, because a lot of times as a person you don't feel that necessarily, right? You feel powerless. And so by letting him, telling Shai to, what he told him, right? Let me know how, talk to me about it tomorrow. He completely undermined what Shai was feeling at the time. And it just, to me, what it showed me was that if you're feeling depression or anxiety or whatever the case is, you have full control over it. Full control. There's nothing necessarily wrong with you. And I know some people don't like him. I'm a fan. 95% of everything he says, I'm a fan. Of Tate. But I remember he said something along the lines of, if you believe in it, then you give it power. And what's even more detrimental to you is you give it power over you. Right? Instead of basically saying, I am control of my life. When you stay in that state of mind, you're giving up full control. You're no longer in control. Now you're letting life happen to you, right? Relinquishing utter control over your own existence. And it's all mental. Like I said, a lot of people don't like him. A lot of people don't like many others. I know it's funny is I don't know if you guys are aware, but I actually have um, an Etsy store where I started selling, a couple things that I designed alongside um, family. But I'll see if I can show you guys the store. But what was funny was I got a lot of flack on social media because of this basically design, right? And I'll show you guys here. I designed this kind of like this poster. I wanted to put it on a shirt. Um, but I got a flag for who I put on there, which for me were people who are a net positive because they've actually, with their messages, saved lives. Right? Some of these men are no longer with us, but um, I'll show you guys here. And like I said, I got a lot of flack for this. And you guys, like I said, if you guys want to give this a follow, please do. I'll help your boy out. But basically, it was this. And, as you guys can see, we have a couple men here. And from left to right, we have Jordan Peterson. We have Joe Rogan, Mike Tyson, Z's, if you guys are familiar with him, Bruce Lee, David Goggins, Elon Musk, Andrew Tate, and Tristan Tate. Right? And all these men, at least for me, and other people I've spoken to, they've helped a lot. They've saved people from swallowing around. They saved people and were able to get men to make it home to their families. Um, maybe you don't like their messaging, but I think to me, the simple fact that they're genuinely saving lives is amazing, right? And again, like maybe you don't like the way certain messages are delivered. Maybe you're not a fan of some of these men. Um, like I said, I am. And like I said, there's things that I'm not gonna 100% agree with all of them. That's kind of where you develop your identity. But anyways, again, I just want to end with saying that I want to say I see you. I appreciate you. You know, um, don't let life happen to you. You know, take it by the horns and move forward. Right? You are stronger than this up here. You control this up here. Who you are controls everything about you, if you believe so. So if you believe you feel upset or sad or whatever the case is, then you have also the same amount of power to feel more than that, to know you're more than that. So I want to leave you guys, with basically saying I love all of you guys very sincerely, and I wish you guys the best. I hope you guys have a beautiful week. Um, I am gonna try to, like I said, have more substance for you guys. I know this video may not get a whole lot of views, but in doing it, I'm realizing that it's kind of helping me too, and there's nothing wrong with that. if I can help somebody, if you can help somebody, why not do it, right? So, yeah, I know it seems maybe a little downer, but I think it's necessary sometimes to speak on this stuff. Um, Again, give me, if you guys have any ideas of any future videos, something you guys want opinions on. I've gone through a lot in my life myself, so maybe you guys have an issue you guys would like explained or an opinion on something, by all means reach out. Maybe if it's good substance, we can do a video, maybe collab. Like I said, I'm new to this. If you guys want to have an interview, ask me questions, or I ask you guys questions, believe me, I'd be more than open to do so. But yeah, with that being said, I love you guys again. And enjoy the rest of your week. Peace out.